If you took anything resembling a science class in school, you know what a habitat is. Simply, it's an organism's home, a place where you can easily acquire food, find a suitable mate, and, well, reproduce with the said mate. Now, if you're aware of what a habitat is, you certainly know about habitat loss. At its simplest, it's the destruction of an animal's natural environment, and with 240 acres of habitat being destroyed each hour, possibly the biggest threat to Earth's wildlife. It's also why animal and human encounters are on the rise. Speaking of, on today's lineup, we brought you 12 examples of such encounters. That too in one of our most sacred summertime spaces, swimming pools. Let's dive in. Number 12. Ser-pent Up. When it comes to pythons, each species has different habitat preferences. Some of them prefer woodlands, grasslands, and swamps, whereas others favor rocky outcrops, savannas, and rainforests. They're also known to reside close to farms where there's a surplus of rodents and other preferred prey. Another thing that sets up various python species apart is burrowing. Yes, you heard that right. Most of them like to shelter in burrows. Now, while certain types of pythons, for instance, smaller Pythonidae like the woma and the black-headed python, choose to make their own burrows, others take over the ones abandoned by smaller mammals. Okay, we know what you're thinking. How does a snake dig a tunnel if it doesn't have any hands? Well, with its feet. Get it? Like the unit of measurement? Nah, never mind. All jokes aside, smaller pythons actually dig with the help of their heads. It takes a few curves of the neck as well, of course, and since their jaws are countersunk, meaning that the lower jaw fits nicely into the upper one, the dirt doesn't get into their mouths. Capiche? We hope so. Moving on, they sneak into tunnels in the hope of finding and feeding on rodents or other terrestrial mammals. But what happens when their habitats get destroyed to make space for houses? Or opposingly, if their prey has had to relocate due to habitat loss? Well, take a look at the video. This python has probably mistaken this pool drain for a tunnel. That, or the poor thing was looking for something to nettle on. Whatever it is, it's not normal. We also have a feeling that this is someone's pet on the loose, because while they're known to frequent farms, their urban trips are pretty unheard of. All in all, this is a consequence of habitat loss. Number 11. Reverse Goldilocks. All 8 species of bears are threatened by habitat degradation. Guess why? Humans. To be particular, humans who have encroached into what was formerly bear territory. Why would they do that, you ask? Well, overpopulation for one. It's because our growing numbers require accommodation. Apart from that, most bear habitats like mountainsides and forests are rich in nutrients and minerals, which makes them quite attractive to agriculturalists and industrialists alike. What are a few bears to a money-making mine or plantation owner? Pests. That's all. Now, if these factors weren't at all play, this cutesy family would be splashing around in a natural pond or river. Bears are excellent swimmers on account of their muscular legs. The cubs also take to water pretty efficiently. While usually they swim with the intention to catch fish, they sometimes go to water holes to get rid of heat stress. It's when their bodies can't get rid of excess heat. You might have experienced it as well at some point in your life. So this clip's not that weird. It's actually quite sad. And to think that Goldilocks was just a fairy tale. Whew. Number 10. Iguana have some fun. Like pythons, iguanas don't have a singular habitat either. They are found in a number of humid and tropical environments like deserts, rocky regions, swamps, rainforests, and lowlands. As a result of this, they absolutely love swimming. In fact, they can do it long distance as well. However, they only enjoy swimming in familiar waters. If so, then what is it doing in this hotel pool? Well, it could be the owners. Hear us out. One of the major reasons why iguanas have started menacing urban spaces, especially in states like Florida, is the exotic pet trade. What these traders don't seem to understand, sadly, is that iguanas aren't the most hygienic of lizards. They carry, brace yourselves, salmonella on their skin. Nothing much to worry about if you're a healthy adult, but plenty of trouble if you're immunocompromised or a child. Those guests did the right thing to get out. Number 9. Don Coyote. Although they're losing wilderness to development, the good thing is that coyotes can adapt to any environment. It just has to be an open space. As far as water bodies go, they can easily wade through them. They also enjoy cooling off in them like bears do, and they'll sometimes eat animals that live close to streams and rivers as well. Now, the reason why this one seems to be having such a difficult time is rabies. While we're no experts, we know that rabid animals eventually develop both hydrophobia and photophobia. Simply put, they can't stand water and light. Coyotes, as warm-blooded mammals, can contract rabies as well. In fact, they're one of the primary carriers. As for the question whether or not it spreads through water, well, only if the animal's bodily fluids come into contact with the water. Yeah, we hope they drained and scrubbed the pool afterwards. Number 8. Swimming trunks. Have you ever heard of a safari lodge? Basically, it's an accommodation in southern and eastern Africa located in game reserves or national parks. The selling point of such enclosures, as far as we know, is guests being able to witness some of Africa's legendary animals. As you can see here, this includes elephants. Now, since elephants are so popular, we think that we don't need to bang on about their love for water. Almost everybody's seen them chilling in a waterhole at some point. But what most people don't know is that it really helps soothe their joints. What's more, they need at least 50 gallons of water to survive. Although not chlorinated water. Yeah, from the looks of it, it didn't take Dumbo long enough to figure that out. Or maybe, just maybe, he left to get his swimming trunks. Get it? Yeah, I forget we ever made that joke. The bottom line is, our wacky holidaying ideas could cost us these beasts their lives. Number 7. Do not disturb. Like most land mammals, squirrels can swim. They don't enjoy it like some of our other picks, but they can. From what we know, the doggy paddle is their favorite stroke. Besides using their paws for this particular stroke, they use their tails to steer through the water. They usually do this when food is scarce and they need to locate new feeding ground. Now, the problem is that they get exhausted really easily. The doggy paddle is quite demanding after all, so swimming long distances isn't their thing, unless they're being attacked, or as we said before, unless there's food involved. What about the squirrel in this clip? Well, it's not here for food. Seems to us that it's just fallen in and can't get out. If you ask us, it should have let the girl help. Poor thing's going to drown. Without a doubt, it's a pretty common occurrence actually. Number 6. Just want to have fun. Deer mostly live in what they call habitats, the very fringes of a forest where the grasslands usually begin. So their encounters with humans are nothing new. On top of that, they can adapt very quickly like coyotes. As a matter of fact, just like coyotes, they're a pretty common sighting in eastern US. So much so that some states have had to hire professional hunters to get rid of their ever-increasing populations. Why, you ask? Well, maybe because they love trampling people's gardens. If not that, then it's probably because of them taking dips in people's pools. Take Bambi here as an example. Since deer don't have sweat glands, they love to cool off like this. When in nature, they do it in rivers, but when in residential areas, they substitute rivers with swimming pools. As long as they're not ruining your vegetable patches, it's all good, right? Number 5. Raccoon. With how comfortable raccoons are in urban areas, one would never know that woodlands are their natural habitats. One of the major reasons why they thrive in urban centers is the steady supply of food. And by the looks of this clip, it wouldn't be wrong to say that pool parties have also made them stick around. If you were wondering, they can swim. But just like squirrels, they're not the most efficient swimmers. This is because of their body weights. Speaking of bodies, since their natural latrines and homes are usually close to the water, they're prone to pooping in or close to pools. What's worse is that their poop contains roundworms. So yeah, if you ever found one of these taking a dip in yours, don't forget to drain it afterwards. Number 4. Unbearable. If you needed more evidence of what we told you about bears, here's another video involving a bear and a pool. This one, however, was only interested in a drink. No splashing around for him. If only humans hadn't moved into their lands, this video wouldn't be so weird. Number 3. Reptile dysfunction. If you ever thought that you've seen the last of iguanas in pools, think again. We've brought you another clip. From what little we know about their behavior, these are probably two males fighting over territory. Well, they didn't have to ruin other people's quality time while at it, you know. Whatever happened to privacy? Number 2. A pouch potato. Kangaroos normally head to urban centers when their food and water resources are impacted by droughts. At times like these, they'll come and feed on just about anyone's freshly watered grass. And while they're at it, they might take a little swim in your pool, kind of like this fella over here. As for whether or not they can swim, they're really good swimmers. In their natural environments, they rely on their strong back legs and sturdy tails to swim through and away from any attackers in water. In their not-so-natural ones, they're probably trying to cool off. And given their reputation for trashing people, we've got no issues whatsoever. Number 1. Nice to eat you. If you still think that habitat loss isn't that big of a problem, check this video out. There's no reason for a crocodile to invade a pool unless we fragmented its hunt, which, considering how horribly polluted the water bodies are around us, we definitely have. And that's not all. Humans have also forced these creatures to come out of their habitats because of overhunting and overfishing. Of course, they're going to eat you. You've left them no options. They need to get that 2 to 5 pounds of meat from somewhere. Just by the way, you're 75 pounds of it. We hope you understand the gravity of habitat fragmentation now. Alright, comment down below what you want to see next. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Wildly for more. See you in the next one.